Hello everybody, my name is Lenka and I would like to tell you something about the risky business some spider males choose to undergo in order to mate. So today I will be speaking about spiders, and these are excellent organisms to study sexual conflict because it takes rather extreme forms. Males typically face a very intense sperm competition, and moreover, they are often under the risk of being killed and eaten by their mates. Probably the best known sexually cannibalistic organisms are widow spiders, which you can see on these pictures and on which I will focus in this presentation. What is probably not so well known about these spiders is that in some species, males are not trying to avoid being cannibalized. On the contrary, they actively facilitate it. This is the case of the redback spider, Latrodectus hasseltii, and the brown widow spider, Latrodectus geometricus. There, males perform a peculiar movement during copulation, so-called somersault, which brings their bodies into female mouthparts. Then, and only then, the female attacks and starts to consume the male. Although this behavior may seem illogical, it has been shown that it increases fitness of the cannibalized males. Relatively recently, it has been observed that some widow spider males have yet another non-cannibalistic option, so-called immature mating. Spiders, similarly to other invertebrates, grow by molting, and typically they are sexually mature only after the final molt. In several widow spider species, however, males do not wait for females to molt and mate with them several days before they undergo this process. Interestingly, once mature, these immaturely mated females produce viable offspring, and they are similarly fecund and fertile as adult females. Moreover, while males court adult females for a very long time, the courtship towards subadults is short, and on top of that, males mating with subadults are not cannibalized by these females, which is likely because they do not perform the somersaults triggering the cannibalism during immature mating. In this talk, I will focus on the brown widow spiders, where males have basically two options: either to mate with an adult female courted for a very long time and then being cannibalized, or mate with a subadult female courted only very shortly and survive to mate again with another female. So considering these apparent advantages arising from immature mating, we expected males to prefer subadult females. And in order to test this prediction, we conducted two sets of experiments. In the first one, we put male in an arena with adult and subadult female in their webs, so the males were exposed to airborne cues of both females at the same time. In the second experiment, we extracted silk from adult and subadult females and exposed the males to it simultaneously. Interestingly, in both cases, males chose adult females. So the short courtship and the lack of cannibalism during immature mating likely do not represent advantages, but rather indicate lower investment into mating with subadult females. We were further interested in the courtship effort towards adult and subadult females. So when courting adult females, males engage in long-lasting courtship, including vibration on female's web. They also take down parts of female's web and lay silk on it, which likely yields these webs less attractive to other males. They also lay silk directly on the female, and this is often referred to as a bridal veil. Since males perform significantly shorter courtship towards subadult females, we were interested to see what particular components are missing, and also what cues males use in order to employ different behaviors. So in order to answer this question, we conducted a web swap experiment where we had adult and subadult females that produce webs. Then we removed these females. We sealed their spinnerets, and so they are not able to produce any more silk. And then we put them in a webs of different females. And by doing so, we created 4 different groups where we had adult females in adult webs, adult females in subadult webs, subadult females in adult webs, and finally subadult females in subadult webs. Then we introduced males and observed behaviors of both sexes. As I mentioned earlier, the courtship consists of 3 components, but I won't be speaking about vibrations here because it occurred in all 4 groups and it did not differ between them. The occurrence of silk laying, however, differed significantly, as you can see on this figure. On the y-axis, you can see percentage of males engaging in this behavior, and the stage of the female which produced the web a male was placed in is on the x-axis. And you can see that most of the males placed in webs constructed by adults engaged in silk laying, while none did so in webs of subadult females, no matter whether these webs were occupied by adult or subadult females. So silk laying is obviously triggered by silk and only by silk produced by adult females. And this observation makes sense because, as I mentioned earlier, males are less attracted to webs constructed by subadult females, so altering these webs is likely unnecessary. Another component of courtship we observed was production of so-called bridal veil. On this figure, you can see the percentage of males engaging in this behavior on the y-axis, and the x-axis shows the stage of the female which is actually present in the web. And you can see that if the female was adult, males produce the bridal veil more often than with subadult females. And this was not altered by the stage of the web the male and female were placed in. So unlike silk laying, the bridal veil is triggered by contact with the female, and it occurs mostly with adult females. During the experiments, we also observed proxies for successful copulation, such as latency to mount a female and the occurrence of genital contact. The first figure shows the latency to mount a female, and you can see that males manage to mount adult females significantly faster than subadult females, no matter what web they were staged in. Additionally, significantly more males manage to contact female genitalia with adult females, again irrespective of the web they were placed in. So the high latency to mount subadults and the lower probability to contact their genitalia indicates that either males are less interested in subadult females or subadult females are less willing to mate. And since we observe the behavior of both sexes, we know that males repeatedly try to mount subadult females and contact their genitalia, but these females often push them away or dislodge them, so the second option seems to be more likely. So to sum up, we found that while vibratory courtship occurs with both adult and subadult females, silk laying and production of bridal veil is limited mainly to adult females. We also observed that subadult females are less receptive to mating, and this may explain why males actually prefer to mate with adult females. It, however, remains unclear whether subadult females are less willing to mate in general, or whether this is so because they experience limited courtship. And now just let me thank to my co-authors, to Dr. Sean McCann, who provided the beautiful pictures you saw throughout the presentation, the agency which funded this project, and of course you for your attention.